with some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Well, welcome to Tales from the Field. We are back and better than ever. It's been going on almost a month. I think this is the longest break we've ever had in between roundtables. I don't even know if we remember how to do this, but we're going to do our best to be able to come through. It is the day before FabCon. I am so excited about this. There is going to be a ton of announcements that come about tomorrow. By the time we wake up, nestled from our wonderful sleep, all the announcements will be live. There will be blog posts that will be live, and hopefully somebody's going to have linked something on the internet, because I don't know about y'all, but I want to see this thing live streamed, or at least I want to see a post-recorded copy of it. All right. Well, enough of that. Last week, Daniel Taylor was back, and he brought us Azure SQL, Restore Azure SQL Managed Instance Databases, a database with the same name. Then our latest episode of Mentally Stable-ish Exercise has just dropped this morning. We are halfway through our first season. So now is a wonderful time for you to catch up, join in with the fun that we had. I don't know that exercise is fun. I can't describe it as fun, but recording the episode sure was fun. Then this Monday, we continued with our brand new bi-weekly tradition leading up to Live 360, the road to Live 360. We had Thomas LaRock, myself, and we had Rockford Lakota. Rocky joined us specifically to talk about the cloud containers and development track that's going to be over at Live 360. It was a wonderful time. If you haven't seen that, that's on the Live 360 playlist we have, as well as the other tracks we've done 2 weeks from now. We've got even more stuff planned for you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There is so much to do, so much to see. You don't want to miss a thing. If this is your first time finding your way over to Tales from the Field, give us a like and give us a subscribe. We drop contents on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Today is Tuesday. It is the Azure Data Community, and we are live at the hub of Tales from the Field. If you want to interact with the show, it is so easy to do. So all you have to do is make a comment on the stream, and one of my amazing co-hosts is going to, hey, did you take the banner away from, I need to get the picture. Come on now. I know it's been a while, but let's pull it together, right? Like give me those pretty faces, those smiling faces and the poses.
Well, so I gotta put up the Twitter banner. I gotta do the wavy thing, and then I gotta pull it down. It gives it about 5 seconds so people know where to find us on the X Twitter machine thingy.
Okay, well, you make a comment. Oh, go ahead, Neeraj.
No, Brad needs to go back to those shows and see what we do behind the scenes.
I know, right? I'm like, it's up there for like 3 seconds, and he's like, get rid of it. Come on.
Well, it's the wrong time. You guys are all about to smile for me. So great. This is typically the part of the show where I know I can count on Neeraj smiling at least 3 times. Throughout the entire broadcast. If we get 5 smiles out of Neeraj, it is a massive, massive win. But I know I can count on this one. And so I gotta
dance moves.
Look at this nice shirt
to
too. He showed up. He's looking great. I love the little stripe things, making him look good. He's been doing all that yoga and working out. He's been getting that exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. I see on our group that we've got going right now with the minutes that you're getting in. You look great. So anyway, if you want to interact with the show, it's so easy. Just make a comment on the stream, and one of my amazing co-hosts will grab that comment. They will add it to the stream, and you will be a part of the show. Speaking of those amazing co-hosts, I am, of course, joined by the man in the hat, Mr. Josh Luedeman, the best beard in the business, Andres Padilla, our very own Robin Hood, Mr. Marco Aurelio Cardoso. Daniel Taylor, the Mountain Man, is out at FabCon this week. You want to make sure and go say hi to Dan. Go find him in the community zone. Get one of the Tales from the Field stickers. Dan is out and about, and you definitely want to go and see him. And then, well, who are we left with? Henry Cavill may be the Cavalrine. However, but there was one version that was too edgy for the movie, and that was the one that featured the Neeraj. I mean, I'm just saying, the Neeraj. I wanted to see him all decked out. Let's go. And it's, of course, was played by your friend of mine, Neeraj Jhaveri. It was too much for the movie. They cut it. It made it on the floor. But next time, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
my goodness,
he was closer to making it in the movie than Rob McElhenney, so that's good.
He was. That's well. And so, speaking of, if you want to go hear some wonderful things from Neeraj, go check out Mentally Stable-ish. We've got our latest episode right now up on exercise. also, this is the Azure Data Community. We want you to get involved with the Azure Data Community. So where are we going to take you to next? We're going to take you over to the Microsoft Azure Data Community website, where you can find a local user group, get there in person. We're all back in person now, and it's a wonderful way to network, to grow, but also local user groups are always looking for speakers. So it's a good place for you to volunteer and help grow your career. Once you get that speaking experience, or if you're looking for a little more training, where do we want you to head? Well, we want you to head over to SQL Saturday. There's a lot of wonderful events. Minnesota is coming up very soon this weekend. Boston is the weekend after that. And then SQL Saturday Orlando is just 3 weeks away, where, of course, I'm going to be there. Daniel Tiller will be there. Bradley Schatt will be there. And we're going to have a panel with the Tales from the Field team, anything you want to talk about. So please come and find us at SQL Saturday. The other wonderful place for you to go for that free training, Data Saturday. So if you take a look, Data Saturday, Holland is coming up, Parma, Slovenia, Austria, Denmark, Croatia. There's some wonderful events from around the globe that are still yet to come. And we are sitting here on the precipice. Today is the pre-con day for the European Fabric Conference, but tomorrow is the big deal. If you aren't there, it's probably too late, but you could try and get another seat if you want to. But there's going to be big announcements and big deals. This is going to be the news that we are talking about tomorrow. So I'm very excited for it. And one last thing, if you're looking to learn, go join our Microsoft Fabric Learning channel. We're over there, the PG's over there, and some of the content that is in the roundtable today came specifically from there. We appreciate people who are sharing their blogs, their videos on the channel. It helps everyone so much to be able to go and learn. Whew. All right. Steve Willer. Appreciate having you out in the audience. I see Dan over there. Hello from Stockholm. Sorry about that, Josh. I'll let you put Dan's other comment up there. I see a lot going on in there. I'm so excited that Dan is over there. Come see me in the community zone. He's got some cool swag. You can learn some stuff. Share where you've taken the DP600 and get a Tales from the Field sticker. I mean, come on. If I was in Stockholm, I know that's exactly where I'd be going to. I'd be going to say hi to Dan. Tickets are sold out. Yeah. So if you aren't there, you're not going to get a chance. You're going to sit back with the rest of us and watch for all the wonderful stuff to come in tomorrow. If you didn't make it out to the FabricCon, though, over in Europe, a quick reminder, this is the day before the event. Future Data Driven is tomorrow. Myself and Daniel Tiller have a session on Database Watcher. Neeraj and Andreas, you both have a session. Hit me up. What are you presenting on tomorrow?
A little bit of LLM Ops, a little bit of AI Studio.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic. So you got to go register. It's free. It's online. You're not going to want to miss this. It's a wonderful chance to be able to interact and ask questions with everyone there. Andreas, talk to me, Goose. What'd you do this weekend?
Well, I was getting ready for my interview with Neeraj. That's why Neeraj is dressed so nicely, because he's selling homes, and I'm going to use my new drone to scan his homes.
Ooh. Oh, I love that. So that way you're going to scan and just, very, very quickly, you're going to be able to get that 360 tour up. You're going to be able to get all those rooms. Before you know it, Neeraj is going to be a magnet, and we're all working for him. I knew this would happen.
That's the master plan.
I was going to say, you're like, I knew this would happen. I'm sitting here going, I thought that was the plan.
Well, I figured we all already worked for Neeraj. I mean, I was just kind of figuring that.
I was sitting here going, did I make up a memo? I thought that was clearly communicated.
Yeah.
Josh isn't wrong. And if Josh isn't wrong, you know what it's time to do? It's just time for us to get straight over to the content.
Time to end the show?
First up,
No. Okay.
I've got Neeraj Jhaveri introducing workspace identity authentication for OneLake, shortcuts and data pipelines. Neeraj, I'm very excited about this. We've got security and integration beginning to go on along with OneLake. Walk me through this. What have we got here?
So, I mean, a lot of announcements, definitely, as Brad said, it's going to come tomorrow. But these were some of the announcements that was announced last week. One big one was the workspace identity authentication for OneLake shortcuts and data pipelines, particularly if you want to use it up from external sources like ADLS Gen 2, you can definitely use this up. What Minal goes through it is she walks you up step by step how to set this up, create a workspace identity, grant permissions to the storage account, and then create a Fabric item on it with a picture, so you don't get confused on it. But this is how you can set it up. You can also administer this workspace identity, who is using it up, how it is set up, any deleted, retrieved things in there. So definitely in the audit log, you will be able to see all this information that is coming up. Definitely something that people ask for it, and that it is. I mean, security is definitely going to be big on Fabric in coming days.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we look at this is a concept that people have been using for quite some time in Azure.
Mhm.
This is one where we're using a managed identity to be able to securely establish communication between one service to another. And then keep in mind, we can use one lake to be able to restrict that further. Steve Wheeler, we're looking forward to seeing you guys at SQL Saturday Orlando on the 12th of October. Steve, we cannot wait to be there. There's so many sessions we're going to have. Bradley Schatt, I know, has 2 sessions there. Dan Taylor, I believe, has 2. I've got 2, and Dan is going to be, and Bradley Schatt and myself, we're going to be bouncing around, helping one another out. So we're going to be there for a good block of the day. SQL Saturday Orlando. That's my first SQL Saturday that I ever went to. That was my introduction to the data community, and boy, do I love that! It's such a wonderful and great event. If you find yourself in the Orlando area or even in the surrounding areas, take a drive. Come on out. First off, it's a beautiful city. Lots of stuff to do in Orlando. It's absolutely amazing. You start out at the north end, where we're going to end up having the SQL Saturday, and by the end of the day, you can come down to the Disney area or Universal Studios, grab a hotel room, and make a fun day out of it.
Did you just say come down to the Disney?
Yeah, we did.
To the Disney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney.
Are you really? Are we that old? No,
I don't
we're
know.
not that old. I refuse to say we are that old. Maybe you are.
I thought the kids were saying the Disney. Are
Oh,
the kids
the
not saying
Disney
Disney?
and the internet as well.
The second you say the kids say, like, sometimes I find some of the phrases that my kids say are just so annoying. I start repeating them just to make sure that I will never hear them again. I only need to do that for about a week, and then the term is dead. So I know I'm in the demographic of cool killer right now, and I think that's an important thing.
Oh, this is cute. Live in your own little world. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, and Marco said, if it's Inculus, I don't want it. I don't disagree with you whatsoever. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us over to how to use incremental refresh for lightning fast Power BI data flows, a complete guide. This was posted about 12 days ago, and it is an absolutely wonderful video. So if you're looking at how to be able to do incremental refresh using data pipelines, please go over and check this out, because this is by Roland Sinzerin, and he's got BIL analytics, bilingual analytics, and he does a great job of being able to cover topics. This is a video. I'm not going to cover a ton of this. I want you to go and check this out. And by the way, keep in mind that as we go through this and he shows you how to be able to do your incremental refresh and he sets this up, this link is already in the description of the video. So is all of the content that we have for the show today. So if you're looking for any of these links, you're looking for anything that we've got, make sure and go ahead and look in that description. It's already there. Speaking of something that's already there, my excitement. When I saw this, it starts out with 3 little letters, and those 3 little letters are incredibly important. And of course, who am I talking about? I'm talking about the best beard in the business, Mr. Andreas Padilla, RAG and Azure AI Studio. This is an Azure reactor as part of our Hack Together that had previously aired, but it's still accessible. We've got the video up there, and you can see, you can watch it on YouTube. You can stream it directly from the page. Andreas, what have we got going on in this session?
This is a great session. Nitya Narasimhan and Leah Baron Simmons, they introduced to us a great demo, Contoso Chat. But what I love about it is that they make it super easily deployable. They show you how it interconnects with AI Studio. They show you how it maps to the LLM ops stages, which is ideate, start to augment, and then, operationalize it and monitor. And then inside of there, they show us how to, they deploy it. Then they start working with a great feature that I love, which is called Prompty. To all you people out there, all you, boys and girls out there, check out Prompty.ai. I love it. I've been working with it now for a couple of weeks. It's a great little tool to help you, fine tune and get better precision from your prompts. Then they show us how to interconnect evaluations And then they show us how to do some monitoring. So what does that give us? It gives us a great template through the Cardoso chat app. It makes it easy deployable, and it shows you how to do things in AI Studio. Great job, Nitya and Leah, for this. I love this session.
Wonderful. And what I love is one of the things we're constantly doing at Microsoft is we're never sitting still. We're always learning, even amongst our team. Last week, we had a learning week. And there's some stuff, Marco, you're going to share that I'm very, very excited about. But before we get to that, first up, what I want to do is I want to take what could potentially be one of the top contenders for longest title of the week. And I want to go straight into that. And of course, I'm doing it with the best looking member of the crew, our own Robin Hood. Marco, we've got introducing O1 OpenAI's new reasoning model series for developers and enterprises on Azure. I made it in a breath, but I had a little bit of room to spare. So I don't know. We may have a longer one later, but this is still a very long title. Tell me what we've got going on with OpenAI's new reasoning model.
Right. So we know every time Steve posts something, I go directly to it. It means big news for OpenAI and for Microsoft. This is a new model. As always, we try to figure out what this model is good at, what it's best used for. And this is O1. First thing that I noticed about this model, it no longer has GPT in the name, which is very interesting. So it's a new model series. It's designed for a different set of tasks. One of the things that's mentioned in the blog, this is a very powerful model that typically takes a little bit more time thinking about what you're asking it. So it's designed for the more complex, the science, the math, all of that fun stuff that LLM models are not always great at. I tested it. I tried some crazy encryption methods, and it figures them out very quickly. I literally mashed my keyboard side to side and said, "What is this pattern?" And it told me exactly what I was doing. This is available in the early access playground on Azure and also on GitHub Models. So if you want to give it a try, this is completely free. You get very small quota. I think it's 1 request per minute. This is a very, very powerful model, but also a very heavy one. But there's some very interesting things that this model can do. One of the things, it's kind of a meme at this point, but if you were following along, OpenAI models and other large language models weren't able to say how many R's were in strawberry up till now, which inspired some interesting memes. And the reason for that is these models really don't see letters. They have their own alphabet, which is tokens, typically parts of words. So none of the tokens in strawberry is actually a standalone R. So for that reason, these models got confused a lot of the times. This is no longer the case. It's a very small and simple task, but it shows us how OpenAI is innovating and how they build these models and how they're enabling new workloads.
That's fantastic. Well, and I love it because when we talk about models, right, there's multiple different approaches going on. And I love how you preface this up front. This is a heavy model. This is going to get a little bit slower, but it covers some of these things that previous models couldn't. You and Andreas have both shared and talked to us about small language models as well and how they can be used for use cases. Back in May, I remember we had a lot of real world online content that was revealed with some of the learnings and the different partners in the education space that we're working with. And so it's important to realize all of these have a place, and we're starting to see these models instead of being just a one size fits all. We've got these different sizes and different approaches and different architectures. It's an interesting time because we're still building this as we're coming out with the guidance for it. Really impressive. Not only that, Josh, I think Marco could get away with actually saying things that the kids say, and they wouldn't think it was utterly lame. I don't get.
He's a kid.
Yeah,
I've been called an uncle before, and my life changed ever since.
Well, as long as you're not called a grandfather yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Well, I was gonna say, so Tio Marco is down there on the precipice of his old manship. But you know what is new and innovative? That's something that my good friend Josh Luedeman, the man in the hat, has. The strongest link, 5 reasons why the semantic link is the Fabric big deal by our good friend Data Mozart. And I absolutely love this. As a matter of fact, I love this so much. This was one of the things that I was going to post. I saw Josh already had this, and I'm so glad because Nikolai Eliak always does a wonderful job with his blog posts. But I have not dove into a lot with semantic link, and there's some really compelling reasons why you should be using semantic link.
Well,
hey, there we go. James Phillips also sounds up. Being a grandpa is fun. James, I look forward to the day I am going to spoil that kid and do so much at Disney that it will never remember for the first 3 years of its life. But I'm looking forward.
Absolutely not saying that being a grandfather isn't fun. However, at Marco's age, if he's a grandfather, there's a math problem going on. So that was mainly where I was coming from with it. But back to this article, I found it in my mature old man way. Nanner, I beat you to it, Brad. But this one I can't. When I saw it, the reason I went for it and liked it is because, again, I hear Andres and Marco and you and Neeraj talking about all these semantic link stuff with fabric and semantic models and stuff, and I was like, now this is something I can get behind, because what actually happens in this article is Nicola actually goes through and gives us 5 real-world use cases. Like, show me all the features. Yay, new features. Help me understand if it's not a basic, like, usability thing. Show me how it's useful. And Nicola took it away and ran with it right here and walks through 5 use cases of using Fabric with semantic link, like visualizing dependencies in your semantic model, optimizing them, even translation, business translation and stuff like that, or translation of language. And in this case as well, migrating existing models to Direct Lake and augmenting the gold layer. And Brad, I know you had a passion for this article as well. I want to hear your thoughts on that one as well, and because I was really excited about that one.
Well, I found it interesting because I know if I were to write this blog, I would start with 5, I would go down to 1. And so we start at number 1, we go to number 5. I don't know that Nikolai has ranked these in any particular order, but there were a couple that were very compelling to me. So first off, if I go to visualize the dependencies in a semantic model, the fact that you can execute this in a notebook and you can get this information from a semantic model, to me, is absolutely massive and huge. Because if you think about it, other than taking a screenshot of what you've got in the semantic model and then trying to figure out the relationships and clicking on those individually to be able to find that, there's no simple way to do this. I thought that was massive. I don't even want to sleep on this for a second. Optimizing semantic models with best practice analyzer. That's not a lot of something that we do in Fast Track. One of the things that I had a customer ask me about yesterday was, hey, my semantic model is slow. And my first thought was, hey, you need best practice analyzer. I didn't even realize semantic link could do that in a notebook cell to be able to make those best practice recommendations. To me, that's absolutely massive to be able to get that list. I think of the old consulting days, the amount of work that we had to do to be able to identify these things. This is fantastic. And then number 3, you can't sleep on this. Everybody wants Direct Lake. They want the power and the performance of Direct Lake. And I hear quite often, how do you translate a semantic model, a pre-existing semantic model that we have, into a Direct Lake model? Boom, right there. That's the code to be able to do it. And it was amazingly simple. It was really, really cool. This is something that made me go, hey, we need to play around with this a little bit more. We need to look at making some videos on this. I love this list by Nikolai, and I think that was just absolutely fantastic stuff.
Definitely.
Now we've got a couple comments. James says, I think Josh just called me old. I don't know that he did, James.
Hold on. I was going to say there is a rebuttal in there. Show the rebuttal. My response to James.
Yeah, no, but I don't know that you and James are. If you're only as old as you feel. Now I did like this. Marco says Josh is definitely a pops. I could see that. I could see, instead of being a grandpa, you're going to be a grandpa that's named Pops. The kids are going to have a fun nickname.
I'm not going to be grandpa.
Pop or
no.
Yeah.
No. And to be fair, I actually got, talking with Erica yesterday, because we've got the hurricane.
There's no need to rush this. I'm just saying.
She called me up and I answered the phone and she goes, "Hey, Pops." So just saying.
Yeah, I think
it's already in the air.
James went with Pop Pop. I like that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with the absolute best and favorite of all grandfathers, Grandpa Ball.
Papa.
That'll be my official title. But they need to say the whole thing every single time. And that's a lot of work for a 1-year-old. But if you want to earn my love, I expect you to put it in.
So are your grandkids going to come into the room and yell, "Hey, balls"? Right.
Grandpa
I can see
balls.
that.
I can see it too.
I can see that.
See that as Grandpa teaching them as their first good phrase. Hey, ball.
Or maybe I get my best friend to do it for me so I can be like, I didn't teach him that. Josh did.
Oh, you're damn right I'm doing it if you're not. Yeah.
There we go. Speaking of wonderful things, I think that's going to be absolutely wonderful. I like it. Grandpa Balls. And then we've got Neeraj bringing us in with Microsoft Fabric achieves high trust CFS certification. I know this is a really big certification that a lot of customers need to have. Neeraj, walk me through this.
So high trust is a big certification because it's widely adopted and recognized framework for any of the healthcare security, healthcare industries. Just because they want they want to be certified to make sure that the data of healthcare, like all the PII data, is secured in the cloud. This was definitely a big one. We just got that certification for industrial solutions for healthcare, and I'm sure most of the healthcare customers out there were looking for these certifications to come in and right in time before the FabCon announcements.
Absolutely. I actually saw a couple blogs that were out today. They didn't have the announcements, but tomorrow I think is going to be the really big day. And speaking of really big, I did really enjoy. And Josh, just think, Neeraj Jhaveri, if they would have spilled out the whole certification, you might have had to contend with longest title.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. You're not wrong there. All right, so my title is definitely not in the running for longest title. Hey, Maddie Two Shoes says, "Oh look, it's Josh." There we go. Hey, Maddie Two Shoes, glad you could join us. I've got API for GraphQL and Microsoft Fabric. One of the things I love about this is about Koen Verbeek. Koen does a great job blogging prolifically over on MS SQL Tips. But what he talks about specifically is, I love it. He always has a problem. And he goes, here's the problem that we're going to solve for. We'd like to share data that's currently loaded in a Fabric warehouse. If possible, we want to do this through an API so external parties may access the data as well. An example of this is someone building a custom dashboard using code such as React, and they want to extract data from Fabric. Can this be done? And it absolutely can be done. He walks you through utilizing GraphQL, creating a query, going ahead and creating the process, setting this up so that way you've got it in place to be able to get the data you want, how to be able to use the API from there, and how to be able to pull that data away. I absolutely love this. I know there's a lot of people who are looking at this, and so I wanted to make sure that this was something that we shared. Let's see. Maddie asked, will Microsoft's next gen warehouse be called clothing? Maddie, I think they're going to take a swim, and we're going to go from a lake methodology to a pool, and it's going to be swimwear. I think so. Maybe there's a little bit of a fabric, but
they're
if anybody in marketing is looking for an idea,
brands and rename it that, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Well,
Microsoft's.
I'm just thinking if we're going to go with swimwear, we got to go to the Olympics. And then what do we need? We need to get Michael Phelps on stage, and we can have Microsoft Phelps.
Microsoft trunks.
I don't know. I have no idea where we're going. But no, Maddie suggests linen fabric clothing outfit. I like this data hierarchy. Maybe this is what we start naming our new bronze, silver, and gold clothing outfit, evening wear. Maybe evening wear is the new gold. It's definitely a good product line. But Marco does bring up that we already had data mesh. Okay, now this next one, this is an amazing article. And of course, it can be only brought to us by a great mind, such as Mr. Andreas Padilla. Azure Machine Learning Service for Kubernetes architects. Deploy your first model on AKS with AZCLI v2. Look, that's not the longest title of the week. I don't know what is. I think Marco's in a really close consideration, but we need somebody to do the word count for us there.
104 characters.
Oh, 104.
93 characters. So.
Oh, Andreas
Mine's longer.
pulls it out. There we go. Gold medalist. All right. So Andreas, walk me through this. What are we doing with Azure Machine Learning Service for Kubernetes architects?
I love this post by Joseph Mezingosho. Thank you for putting this out there. I've been working on a couple of scenarios. One of the scenarios is how do we bring models, any type of model, custom build models, SLM models, LLMs, onto factory floors? And what a lot of companies out there leverage Kubernetes in order to like run Kubernetes clusters on their factory shops, and then they interconnect them into Azure with Azure Arc. One of the great things about this is that he shows us how to build a model in Azure ML, how to use an Azure ML extension, how to use that extension as a bridge, and then put that model into a container, into an Arc-enabled Kubernetes cluster. Man, that's music to my ears. This post made my life so much easier when it came to interconnecting all those things, bringing up Azure ML Studio, doing the ML extension with Kubernetes, and then building the model and pushing it out. Thank you for this, Joseph. You're going to make everybody's life out there so much easier.
I love the level of depth that there is in this as well, because Kubernetes, machine learning, those two topics in and of themselves are enough to be able to overwhelm somebody. So having that really great tutorial that takes you through step by step, that's some great work there. Absolutely love that as a resource. Speaking of a resource, here's a great resource from you from another great mind. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Marco Cardoso with the RAG hack. My understanding is, Marco, this is some of the output that you and the folks over there, you, Andre, all the folks on the team putting this together for that hack last week. There were a lot of collaborators on this. What do we got going on in here? This seems awesome.
Oh, yes. And a topic is awesome when it shows up twice in the same roundtable. This is the same initiative that Andreas just presented a while ago on the reactor. So this is the hub for all things about this RAG hack. So this was an effort. It took a lot of work from a lot of great folks at Microsoft. I couldn't possibly list just one or two. Check out the contributors on this repository because there was a big team involved. In this page, you will find all the sessions that we had. We had sessions in English, Portuguese, Spanish, Chinese, covering multiple programming languages, and all in the topic of RAG. So the hackathon is unfortunately over. We have a ton of submissions already. Make sure to check out the issues as well, because that's where the submissions are, and there's some insane use cases there. Somebody put together a bot that you upload your textbook and you get an interactive course. There's really just so much that folks have put together. I'm really proud of the community that joined up on this effort, and I was really excited to see some of the outputs. Make sure you check out the live streams and the sessions. Definitely a great source of material on RAG there.
Absolutely. No, I love it. I think that's absolutely fantastic stuff. And it's a wonderful, wonderful resource combined with all those different videos to be able to help you go through that data. Continuing on the last topic, Matty Two Shoes says Microsoft thawing is something I never thought I would buy. You're not alone. I think people want more coverage than that. And then James asked, would Data Factory be called Speedo? I think there's a distinct possibility. We're going to have to use Speedo somewhere.
Speedo has to come in somewhere. But when I think of Data Factory, I think of data movement. And when I think of movement, I never think of a Speedo because I feel like that restricts all movement. I would think of it maybe for the visualization platform because it shows everything. Next topic.
Ooh. Well, on to the next topic. Last but certainly not least, I've got the amazing Mr. Luedeman bringing us home with Mr. Steve Hughes. We love you so much, Steve. Steve is over on Fabric 5, and he's talking about home region, which is the impact of tenants' home region on data recovery within Fabric. Josh, talk to me about what Steve is covering here.
So the nice thing about these from Steve is Fabric 5 is on his Data on Wheels channel. Fabric 5 is great little 5-minute or less snippets on different topics around Fabric. So yes, home region is one of them. There's another topic where he goes into data reset, high availability, all the different things here. So, home region, again, he teaches you about understanding when your home region is determined as far as Fabric and Power BI is, where to find out what it is, if you've already deployed a Power BI report or something like that and created your home region. But again, the nice thing about this is more to focus on the Fabric 5, little 5-minute or less snippets from, frankly, one of the best enterprise architects I've ever worked with. So wanted to bring this up to the community because Steve's a great resource.
Absolutely. Steve is a fantastic resource. And, sometimes we get, as tech professionals, we get really enmeshed in going deep into something. And there's so many things we just presume that people know. We shouldn't do that. And I love it. Even just looking at this, Steve is covering some of those basic things that we might fly through in Fabric that we don't think about. Not everybody knows how to get this information. Not everybody knows how to be able to go directly to this place. Absolutely love it. Great work, Steve. This is well worth it if you're not familiar with these concepts. If you went Fabric Home, what's Fabric Home? Go check it out. You want to make sure, give 5 minutes of your day to make sure that you're a little wiser on that. Thanks to Mr. Steve Hughes. All right, so before we go, because that is all the content, a quick reminder that every single bit of content is already in the description of the video. So if you're looking for anything that you saw on the show today, open up that description, go in there. Please, please, please go check out the content by these wonderful creators in our community. Show them some support, give them a like, give them a thank you. Any comment in the content, I'm sure, is something that they're going to love to be able to hear back from you. Guys, tomorrow is Future Data Driven. Me and Dan, Neeraj, and Andreas looking forward to having these sessions. People need to go and they need to sign up. There's still time. It is a free event, but keep in mind there will be limited space in some of these meetings. I think there's a cap of about 1,000 people, and you will have a lot of people online watching these sessions. They've got great stuff from people all around the Microsoft MVPs, and around the data community who are participating. Anything that we want to cover?
I do think there's one thing. I think we need to remind everybody with FabCon in Europe, don't forget Live 360 is coming up on the beautiful, picturesque grounds of Universal Studios, housed at the welcoming, comforting Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort and Conference Center in sunny, sandy Orlando, Florida.
How's it comfort?
Really? Yeah, I mean, sunny, yes, but sandy. I mean, you got the beaches on either side of us. Granted, there will be some sand.
Have you not stuck a shovel in your backyard? Like, stick a shovel in, dig past the sod. You know what you find? It's not
sand.
dirt.
I understand. Okay. All right. So anyway, the week before Thanksgiving, there's no place you want to be other than in Orlando with us at Live 360. I have word, though, that we may have 1 or 2 members that are headed up to Ignite in Chicago. So while you guys are in Chicago and baby is going to be cold outside, we will be down sitting by the pool, sipping some margaritas in your honor and thinking about you. But the wonderful thing, I don't know if we have that to announce yet. Yes, no, maybe. Okay,
maybe.
So maybe. And not next week, because next week we're gonna do our Fabric roundup of Microsoft FabCon and all of the wonderful announcements from there. But the week after that, we will have another roundtable, and maybe we will be able to share who's going to be up at Ignite at that point in time. But I know we've got some members of the team. So whether you're in Chicago at Microsoft Ignite, whether you are down there with us enjoying Live 360, we would love to be able to see you. For Josh Luedeman, Neeraj Jhaveri, Marco Cardoso, Andreas Padilla, and our good buddy Dan Taylor out at FabCon, go check out Dan and get a sticker for him. Be good to one another and take care of everybody out there.
We salute you, mountain men.
Step 1. Wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun.